Hello and welcome to Soul GPS. In today's video, I want to talk about a question that comes up a lot in my sessions with my clients. And since it comes up so much, I thought, why not sum it up and shoot a video that could be helpful to you. And I know that this is a topic that is very painful and it's very common, and pretty much anyone who's been touched by the narcissistic sting, who's been affected, must go through quite a process of unraveling. And my goal with these videos is to provide you with any kind of a relief that I can, so that you don't feel like you're going crazy, so you don't feel alienated, so you can get to a place where you find truth and resolution and some reprieve from everything that has happened, and are able to move on in your life to greater things. But I just want to acknowledge that it is can be a lengthy and difficult process, and oftentimes it requires help, it requires assistance, and the help can be found online in videos like these, or it can be found in a family circle or a friend or a therapist. You know, reach out to whoever you can when you're going through this, because it's not easy. Let's not pretend that it is. It's not. So I wanted to make this video to give you some clarity about why narcissists leave and why does it hurt so much when they do. Because when we leave a healthy relationship, one that wasn't so damaging, that one that wasn't with one of these people from cluster B spectrum, it generally doesn't create so much upheaval. But for some reason, and we'll talk about what those reasons are in a minute, when it's with a narcissist, it often doesn't even matter how long the relationship was. It just really, really hurts. And so I'm going to give you some solutions as to how to move on. And I'm also going to tell you what are the main reasons why they leave. And there can be many reasons. I mean, let's not joke ourselves. It can be many because everyone's different. The world is a complex place. People are complex creatures, whether they're narcissists or not. But these are the three general rules, the three general reasons that I think most of the cases that I've worked with, and that also includes my own experiences, fall into. So the first reason is they know that you know. Because a relationship with a narcissist is one of exploitation. They want to get things out of you. They want what is called supply, narcissistic supply. It can be in the form of attention, material benefits. It could be sexual in nature. It could be energetic. It can be getting a place to stay. It could be getting a promotion. It could be with a family member who feels like they can get something out of you, some sort of a help or assistance. So there can be many reasons, but in general, people who have narcissistic personality disorder and who have, let's just call it, heavy narcissistic traits, they usually have an agenda. They want something out of you. So for that reason, they must play a game. It's a game of manipulation. It's a game to trick you into believing that they're not doing what they really are doing, to disguise themselves, to paint themselves as the good guy, and usually to turn things around and cast the blame on you so they can exit cleanly. But once they suspect that you're catching on to their game, that you're giving different responses, that you're not reacting the way you used to, it's going to put them on high alert, and they're going to go into an observation mode. They're going to go into testing mode. And if their observation and their testing reveals that it's getting a little bit too difficult to get what they want, they're going to start losing interest. They may start to withdraw. They may start to look around at other sources of supply, and you may begin to feel that coldness. You may begin to feel the criticisms amplifying, and so on and so forth. It's not a pleasant experience. And you may also feel threatened. You may feel like you're in a dangerous situation almost, because they can turn a little vicious. They will give you that smirk, those looks, because they're masters of disguise. But at the same time, once they're under stress, or once they feel comfortable enough, they will show. It will sort of leak through the cracks. So you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to intuitively pick it up, especially if you're a person who's highly sensitive, empathic. You'll tune into that. You will feel their discomfort inside of your body, so you'll be able to tell that something's up. So once they know that you know, and they can't put you back in that corner of unknowing, then they're going to begin to withdraw. The second reason why this happens, why narcissists leave, is that it takes too much effort for not enough gain. So it ties in with the previous point a little bit, that they feel that they have to work extra hard to extract from you the supply, and it's exhausting now. It's giving them trouble. This in particular is often the case with vulnerable narcissists, because the ostentatious one, the classical narcissist, who's very outwardly expressive, who's very materialistically oriented, who has an intense temperament. These kinds of people, typically don't put much effort in a relationship to begin with. But the ones who are more disguised, the shy narcissists, the vulnerable narcissists, they will try to do things more than the other type in order to make you feel like they're the good guy, make you feel like they need help, like they're entitled to your attention, to your help, because otherwise they can't manage. They rely on you in some way. So in order to evoke that empathy in you, they're going to have to create that impression that they are victimized all the time, right? And it takes an effort. And once you stop buying it and stop giving in, then they're going to notice that something's up, and they will again look elsewhere for easier supply. I have an example with one of the clients that I'm currently working with. The person in her life who clearly has these kinds of traits, what he tends to do is he wants things from her, material things from her, and she knows it. But he'll never say it. He'll only drop little hints. And he wants her to pick up the, where it's going. And initially, in the earlier stages of the relationship, this was working very well. And she could read his mind. And he would go, "Oh my God, you're amazing. You know exactly what I'm thinking. You're my soulmate. You know how that goes." But she was just drained by that, right? Because she was catering to his needs, and she was neglecting her own, and it became exhausting. And eventually, what she started to do as I began working with her is I told her to stop finishing the sentence, to stop guessing, to stop assuming, to seek more clarity in the relationship and ask questions. So when he's dropping hints, either not to react or to say, "Okay, all right, I hear you," or to ask questions. "What do you mean?" Right? So it's now on him to clarify and to ask. And the result was that he would just drop it, and she would end up, not having to give as much. But there is a fear that oftentimes keeps these kinds of relationships, these are codependent relationships, and I'll explain why in a minute, keeps these relationships bonded and keeps her bound to him, and as it is in this example. And that is that she has an emotional need for this person to be present in her life. So she'll do anything she can to please him, and even at the expense of herself. So rather than cutting it off completely, which she wasn't ready to do, what she began to do is distance herself a little step at a time. So that's one way to do this. And he's stuck around so far. This is not somebody that she's married to. It's more of a friend. and there is a certain exchange that they do with their work and other things. So it's not somebody that is endangering her life. It's just that it's just been very draining. So he's still present in her life, but he is not assaulting her with constant demands and needing things from her. So there's a little bit more space and a little bit more room that has been created as a result. Where it goes from now, we don't know. But this was just an example that I thought really well, it illustrates really well how to begin to move in that direction of giving less and making the narcissist work harder or expose himself, admit himself, his own desire, his own need to become more defined, which is very difficult for some reason for these people. And as is the case with this person, he's just not doing it. So he's not gaining what he wants. And yeah, so we'll see where that goes. So the third reason why a narcissist leave, and that's probably one you've already guessed, is that there's somebody else, somebody who, again, is a little bit easier to manipulate, who's giving more supply. Usually it boils down to these things. And so they're turning their attention towards someone else. But as is the case with most narcissists, even when there's someone else in their life, they don't have a tendency of cutting the previous relationship clean and moving on to the next person. Instead, what they'll do is they will keep these relationships open in order to extract and exploit people for whatever it is that they may need, either now or in the future. So there's a difficulty that arises out of these dynamics, and it boils down to the fact that people who are touched by these kinds of characters, touched figuratively, although it could be literally too, of course, they don't get a sense of closure, and they can get stuck for many, many months, sometimes years, in relationships that don't really give them anything. They feel often taken advantage of. They don't feel seen. They suspect that something else is happening behind the curtain, but they don't have enough proof in order to substantiate their suspicions and make the final decision of cutting it off. So the leaving of the narcissist can happen quickly, abruptly, or it can happen very slowly and be that dynamic, that hoovering dynamic of just sort of coming in and leaving, coming in and leaving, and doing that dance, which is really, really exhausting, because with every cycle, you just feel yuckier and more exhausted. So these are the three reasons. And now, why does it hurt so much when they leave or when they begin to move away? I think it all boils down to emotions, emotional needs not being addressed. And I think that a lot of us get into relationships with narcissists when we're in a vulnerable place and we feel the need to be close with someone, and they just happen to appear, whether they can smell it, or if it's an accident, or if it's something else, whatever it is, they show up, and it just feels very attractive to people who feel emotionally starved or just emotionally hungry. Maybe it's not very desperate. It could be even not desperate at all. It could be that we can also meet somebody like that when we feel great about ourselves, and we may even not need to be with anyone else, but they have such a way to seduce and to open up, to simulate the desire until it actually does get activated and reawakened. But in most cases, it's that we begin these relationships by coming into the world of dating from a place of vulnerability and a deep need. And I think it's really important, as we begin the process of healing, to really see that, admit that, and look at that. I'm not going to give you actual step-by-step way of healing those emotional needs or caring for them, because it's going to be different for everyone. But I'm just going to say here that this is a good place to start. It's a very empowering place to start, is to just recognize that and sit with that pain and allow yourself to feel it and to tell yourself that it's okay, that it's there, because it is okay. And to begin to nurture it and nurture yourself. Slowly explore what those needs are, explore ways in which you can fill those needs, and literally just sit with yourself and ask yourself these questions, because this kind of inquiry can lead to profound discoveries that can get you on the right trajectory to healing. So these are the 3 reasons, and if you have more, which I'm sure you do, because again, these are the most general reasons, do drop it down below this video, and let's do some sharing here. Let's help one another, and wherever you are in this process, whether you've just experienced a narcissist depart from your life, or you are in that in-between zone when you're not sure, just know that you're not alone, that I feel you, that we all feel you. It's a difficult place to be in. It's a really difficult place to be in, and I just want to send you some empowerment, some good energy, some good thoughts, and tell you that you can come out of it. You can heal from this. This is just a stage, and this stage could either be something that we approach as such a bummer, such a horrible thing to go through, or it could be looked at as such a great opportunity to get to know yourself, to get to know your vulnerabilities, and find the ways in which you like to be nurtured, and find ways to address your needs once you discover them. So that's it for today. Thank you for stopping by. If you are interested in working with me, my contact information is below this video. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best always.